Have you ever picked up a book in English and thought, can I really understand this? If you have, you're not alone. Many English learners feel the same way. But here's a little secret. Reading in English can be one of the most powerful, comforting, and inspiring ways to improve your language skills, no matter where you are on your journey. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to understand every word. All you need is a little curiosity, a little courage, and a few quiet moments each day. Because inside every English story, article, or paragraph is a door waiting to be opened, a door that leads you to new vocabulary, clearer grammar, and stronger confidence. Here at Onyx Shadowing English, we believe learning doesn't have to feel hard. It can feel peaceful. It can feel like you're simply spending time with a good friend who believes in you. And that's what this video is all about. I'll show you how reading can gently boost your skills without stress, how it can train your brain to think in English, and how even 5 minutes of reading a day can build a foundation for fluency. So grab your favorite drink, find a quiet space, and let's go on a journey together. Because today we're not just learning English, we're discovering a peaceful, powerful, and personal way to grow. And by the end of this video, you'll feel ready to read with more joy and confidence than ever before. Chapter 1: The Magic of Reading. Why it's so powerful. Reading in English may look simple on the surface, just words on a page or screen, but hidden inside those words is something almost magical. It's quiet, it's gentle, but it has the power to completely transform the way you understand and use the English language. And the most beautiful part, it works even if you don't notice it. You don't need a textbook or a classroom. All you need is a story, a few words, and an open heart. Let me show you why reading is one of the most powerful tools for learning English and why it can change your journey forever. When you read in English, your brain is doing something amazing. It's seeing new words in real situations, not just as a list, not just as a translation, but as living, breathing parts of a sentence. This helps you remember them more naturally. Imagine learning the word window from a vocabulary list. You might forget it the next day. But when you read a story that says, she opened the window and let the fresh morning air in, you feel the word. You see it. You understand how it lives in a real moment. And that kind of learning stays with you much longer. Reading also teaches grammar in the most gentle way. No stress, no memorizing rules, just quiet exposure to correct patterns again and again. You see how questions are formed. You notice how past tense is used. You absorb sentence structure without even realizing it. Over time, these patterns become a natural part of how you think in English. You begin to feel what sounds right, not just because you studied it, but because you've seen it in action many times before. Another powerful gift of reading is comprehension. When you read, you're not just looking at words, you're understanding ideas, you're connecting dots. This is the same skill you need for listening and conversation. As you read more, you train your brain to follow stories, understand main points, and pick up on small details, all of which help you speak and listen more fluently. Reading sharpens your focus, improves your memory, and gently prepares you for real life communication. And here's something else that often surprises learners. Reading in English builds your confidence. Think about how it feels when you finish a page, a chapter, or even a full book in English. That sense of I did it is powerful. It tells your brain, I can do this. And the more you feel that success, the more you believe in yourself. That belief shows up in your voice when you speak, in your writing, when you express ideas, and even in your posture when you walk into a conversation in English. But perhaps the most wonderful magic of reading is how it helps you connect, not just with the language, but with the world. English stories, articles, and poems open your eyes to different cultures, ideas, and emotions. You begin to see how native speakers think, feel, and communicate. You laugh at jokes you never understood before. You recognize expressions you hear in movies or songs. And suddenly, English isn't just a subject, it's a window into real human experiences. The best part? Reading doesn't have to be hard or time consuming. You don't need to understand every word. You don't even need a full hour. Just a few minutes a day is enough. Focus on the big picture, enjoy the story, and let your curiosity lead the way. If you find a word you don't know, pause, think, guess, maybe write it down. But don't stop, because every sentence you read is like a quiet whisper to your brain. You're learning, you're growing, you're doing it. So whether you're reading a short story, a children's book, a blog post, or even a comic, remember, this simple act holds the power to change everything. Reading builds your vocabulary, strengthens your grammar, sharpens your understanding, and lifts your confidence. And it does all of that in the most peaceful, personal way possible. So let's celebrate this quiet, beautiful magic. Let's invite it into our lives, even just for a few minutes a day. Because every time you turn a page in English, you're not just reading, you're becoming the confident, fluent speaker you were always meant to be. Chapter 2: Reading Benefits by Level, Beginner to Advanced. No matter where you are in your English journey, just starting out, making steady progress, or already speaking with ease, reading can be your quiet companion, gently guiding you forward. Let's take a closer look at how reading supports English learners at every level. Because the truth is, there's no right time to start. The right time is now. If you're a beginner, reading might feel scary at first. Maybe the words look unfamiliar. Maybe the sentences feel too fast. But this is where the magic begins. At this stage, reading simple stories, children's books, or graded readers is perfect. These materials are designed to help you feel safe. They use easy words and short sentences, often with pictures to support your understanding. And the more you read, the more these words and phrases become your friends. You'll see the same structures again and again. I like, she is, they have. And this repetition builds strong roots in your memory. Slowly, reading stops being scary. It becomes fun. You start recognizing words you once struggled with. You feel progress. And that feeling, it's powerful. For intermediate learners, the world of reading opens wide. You now have enough vocabulary and grammar to explore deeper texts, short novels, blogs, articles, and even some poetry. This is where reading becomes your playground. You'll meet idioms like break the ice or hit the books, phrases that make English sound real and natural. You'll also see how people express feelings, tell stories, and explain ideas. This not only grows your vocabulary, but helps you connect with English emotionally. Reading at this level helps you move from learning words to feeling the language. It sharpens your understanding of tone, context, and voice, and it prepares you to express yourself, not just clearly, but beautifully. And then comes the advanced stage, where reading becomes a true adventure. At this point, you can explore novels, essays, and even academic texts with more confidence. You begin to see the deeper structure of language, how writers use metaphors, humor, or rhythm to move people's hearts. You understand nuance, you catch subtle meaning, and most importantly, you begin to form your own opinions in English. Reading at this level is more than learning. It's about becoming a thinker, a communicator, a storyteller in your own right. You absorb knowledge not just to understand, but to respond, to discuss, and to create. But here's the beautiful part. Even though the materials change, the heart of reading remains the same at every level. It's about slowing down, breathing with the words, letting the language speak to you, not as a test, but as a conversation. Whether it's your first English book or your 20th, each page is a doorway to growth. And remember, progress is not always a straight line. Some days you'll feel fluent, other days unsure. That's okay. Reading helps you through both. On confident days, it stretches your skills. On difficult days, it wraps around you like a warm blanket, reminding you how far you've come. If you're ever unsure about what to read, start with something that excites you. If you're a beginner, maybe a picture book. If you're intermediate, maybe a blog about travel or food. If you're advanced, perhaps a novel or a biography. There's no one size fits all. The best reading material is the one that makes your heart say, "Yes, I want to know more." Reading is not about finishing quickly, it's about discovering slowly. And with each sentence, your brain is building bridges, connecting words, emotions, ideas, and memories. These bridges will carry you forward in your English journey with strength and joy. So, whether you're just learning hello or already writing essays, keep reading. Let books, articles, and stories be your teachers, your friends, your mirrors, because the more you read, the more you grow. And you're already growing beautifully. Chapter 3: 9 Tips to Build a Strong Reading Habit. Building a strong reading habit doesn't mean forcing yourself to read long, difficult books or following a strict schedule that feels like a chore. In fact, the best reading habits are the ones that feel soft, inviting, and easy to keep, like a warm cup of tea waiting for you at the end of a long day. And the beautiful part is you can start small and let your love for reading grow naturally. So, let's explore 9 gentle, practical tips to help you fall in love with reading in English and make it a peaceful part of your daily life. Tip 1: start small and follow your curiosity. You don't need to read a thick novel to become a better reader. Just choose something that makes you smile: a comic, a short story, or a post about your favorite hobby. When you enjoy what you're reading, your brain stays open and relaxed. It's not about quantity, it's about connection. Tip 2: use graded readers or simplified texts. These special books are designed for English learners and come in levels from beginner to advanced. The vocabulary and grammar are just right for you. You'll feel challenged but not overwhelmed, and you'll start to understand without needing to stop at every word. That ease builds your confidence word by word. Tip 3: keep a gentle vocabulary notebook. As you read, you'll meet new words, some familiar, some brand new. Instead of skipping them or feeling frustrated, write them down. Include their meanings and maybe even a sentence from the story. Think of this notebook as a garden where new words grow slowly, each one a little seed of understanding. Tip 4: read aloud when you can. There's something magical about hearing your own voice in English. Reading out loud helps you feel the rhythm and music of the language. It also helps with pronunciation and fluency. You don't need an audience. Just read to yourself softly, like telling a story to a friend. Tip 5: focus on the main idea, not every word. Don't let unfamiliar words stop you. Try to understand the big picture, the emotion, the situation, the message. Guess from context and move on. Over time, you'll realize that your brain can understand more than you thought, even with a few missing pieces. Tip 6. Create a gentle reading routine. Choose a time that feels natural for you: morning coffee, lunch break, or bedtime. Even 10 minutes a day is enough to keep the habit alive. And once reading becomes part of your routine, it stops feeling like study and starts feeling like self care. Tip 7. Celebrate your small wins. Finished your first English story? That's amazing. Learned 5 new words? Fantastic. Smiled while reading something funny in English? That matters too. Every page, every paragraph, every tiny moment counts. And when you celebrate progress, your motivation grows stronger. Tip 8. Explore different genres and formats. Try fiction, news articles, short poems, or even recipes in English. Each type of text gives you something different: emotion, information, structure, or creativity. The variety keeps things exciting and helps you discover what kind of English you truly enjoy. Tip 9. Share your reading journey with others. Tell a friend about what you read. Join an online book club or a small group for language exchange. Talk about the characters, the lessons, the surprises. When you share, you deepen your understanding and make reading feel more alive, more human, more connected. Remember, building a reading habit isn't about being perfect. It's about creating a space for English in your life that feels kind and welcoming. Some days you'll read more, some days less, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep showing up, turning the page, and letting each word guide you gently forward. You're not just learning a language, you're learning how to enjoy the journey. And with every line you read, you're becoming the English speaker you've always dreamed of being. Chapter 4. From Reading to Speaking and Writing. Reading is not just something you do quietly in your room. It's not just for understanding stories or learning new words. Reading is the beginning of everything. Every time you read in English, you're feeding the language inside you: words, phrases, feelings, rhythm, structure. And slowly, softly, something magical happens. The words you read become the words you speak. The way sentences flow in a story starts to flow in your writing. And without even realizing it, you begin to express yourself in English, not just with your mind, but with your heart. One simple way to turn reading into speaking is by summarizing what you read. After you finish a short story or article, pause and ask yourself, what was that about? Then try saying the answer out loud. Keep it simple. Don't worry about mistakes. Just speak freely. Pretend you're telling a friend the story. This trains your brain to find words quickly and explain ideas clearly. Two powerful skills for real conversations. Another beautiful way to connect reading with speaking is through role play. If you're reading a dialogue, choose a character and read their lines out loud with emotion. Act it out. Put yourself in the scene. Feel their feelings. Copy their tone. You'll get used to everyday expressions, a natural intonation, and emotional vocabulary. You can even do this with a friend or record yourself to hear your own voice growing stronger, clearer, and more confident. Now let's move to writing, another space where reading becomes your secret power. One lovely practice is to write short reflections after reading, maybe a sentence, maybe a whole page. Ask yourself, how did this story make me feel? What did I learn? Did anything surprise me? You're not just practicing grammar, you're building your voice, your opinion, your ability to think and feel in English. Another creative method is to imitate writing styles. Find a paragraph you love. Notice how the writer begins a sentence, how they describe a feeling, how they ask a question. Then write your own version using the same style. This is like borrowing a beautiful melody and adding your own lyrics. It helps you write more naturally, more beautifully, more like you. And if you want to take your reading to speaking connection even further, try creating discussion questions based on what you read. For example, why did the character make that choice? Or would I do the same in that situation? These questions are powerful because they prepare your mind to talk in English, not just understand. You can discuss them with friends, a study group, or even speak your answers out loud alone. Every answer strengthens your fluency. One more way to grow is by collecting and using new words from your reading. As you discover new expressions, don't just write them down, use them, speak them. Try making 3 sentences with each new word, or use it in a voice memo, in a comment online, or in your journal. Words you use are words you keep. Words you say out loud become yours forever. All of this, summarizing, role playing, reflecting, aiming, asking, using, it might sound like a lot, but you don't need to do everything every day. Just pick 1 or 2. Keep it light, keep it joyful. The key is not perfection, the key is connection. You're connecting what you read with what you say, with what you write, with what you think. And that is real learning. That is deep learning. Remember, reading is not the end, it's the beginning of your voice. It gives you the tools to speak your thoughts and write your dreams in a new language. It's like filling your heart with light and then shining that light out into the world through your words. So next time you read in English, don't close the book and walk away. Let the story stay with you. Speak it, rewrite it, reflect on it, share it. Because the more you engage with what you read, the more English becomes not just something you study, but something you live. Chapter 5: How to Overcome Reading Challenges. Reading in English can feel like a peaceful journey, but let's be honest, sometimes it's not always easy. There are moments when the words feel too hard, when the sentences feel too long, or when your mind whispers, maybe this isn't for me. If you've ever felt that way, take a deep breath and know this. Every reader at every level has faced these same challenges. And the beautiful truth, each challenge is also an invitation to grow, to slow down, and to build something stronger within you. Let's gently look at some common reading struggles and explore simple, soothing ways to overcome them. One of the biggest challenges is limited vocabulary. You're reading, and suddenly a word appears that you don't know, and then another and another. It can feel overwhelming, but remember, you don't need to understand every word. Try this. When you meet a new word, pause. Look at the sentence. Can you guess the meaning? If yes, smile and keep going. If not, it's okay to look it up, but don't lose your rhythm. Write it down in your notebook. Maybe highlight it and move forward. With time and repetition, that strange word will become familiar. You're not failing, you're planting seeds. Another challenge is complex sentence structure. Sometimes English sentences are long, full of commas and strange patterns. Don't panic. Try breaking the sentence into small parts. Find the subject, find the verb. Ask yourself, what's the main action? Reading aloud can also help. When you hear the sentence with your own voice, it often becomes clearer. And if you need to read it twice or even 3 times, that's okay. It's not a race, it's a dance, and you're allowed to go at your own pace. Many learners also struggle with lack of motivation or interest. Maybe you're reading something that just doesn't feel exciting. Maybe you're tired or your mind is somewhere else. This is normal. The secret is to read things you love. If you enjoy cooking, read recipes. If you like stories about love, try romantic short stories. If you're curious about the world, read travel blogs. Let your heart lead. When you care about the content, your brain opens up. Reading becomes something you want to do, not something you have to do. Another common obstacle is not having enough time. Life can be busy. Work, family, responsibilities, they all pull us in different directions. But remember, even 5 minutes a day can make a difference. Try reading during breakfast, or while waiting in line, or just before bed. You don't need a perfect moment, just a quiet one. Reading is like water for the brain. A little each day keeps your language alive and growing. Then there's the quiet fear many learners carry, the fear of making mistakes. Maybe you worry about misunderstanding the meaning or saying a word wrong when reading aloud. But here's the truth: mistakes are part of progress. Every time you read, you're doing something brave. You're stepping into a new world. So be kind to yourself. You're not expected to be perfect. You're expected to try, and every try makes you stronger. Lastly, some readers struggle with cultural references. You might read something and feel confused because it mentions traditions, places, or humor that feels unfamiliar. When this happens, take a moment to explore. Look it up. Ask someone. Learning a language is also learning a culture, and that makes it even more beautiful. The more you understand the background, the deeper the story becomes. So here's a gentle reminder: you are not alone in your struggles, and every challenge you face today becomes your strength tomorrow. When you feel stuck, pause, breathe, come back to your why you started learning English in the first place. Was it for connection, for travel, for your dreams? Let that reason be your light. Reading is not about perfection. It's about progress, about presence, about believing again and again that you are capable of more than you know. And every time you choose to keep going, despite the hard words, the long sentences, or the busy days, you are proving to yourself that this dream is real and it's yours. Conclusion: let's start reading today. So here we are, dear friend, at the end of this gentle journey into the world of reading in English. And maybe, just maybe, something has shifted inside you. Maybe reading no longer feels like a big scary wall. Maybe now it feels more like a path, a soft, welcoming path, one that you can walk at your own pace, step by step, with curiosity in your eyes and confidence in your heart. You've seen how reading can quietly grow your vocabulary, how it helps grammar come alive without effort, how it deepens your understanding and gives your voice more strength. You've learned that every level, from beginner to advanced, has its own kind of reading magic. And you've discovered simple, powerful ways to connect what you read with how you speak, write, and think in English. So now I want to invite you to take one small step today. Choose something to read, anything that makes your heart smile. A short story, a blog post, a comic strip, just a few lines. Then breathe, enjoy, and let yourself be proud. Because the moment you start reading in English with intention, you've already won. And if you'd like, share your journey with us in the comments below. What are you reading? What did you learn? What made you pause and think? Your words might be the spark someone else needs to begin. Here on Onyx Shadowing English, we'll always be walking beside you with new tips, warm encouragement, and stories that speak to your soul. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because your English journey deserves to feel inspired. Now go ahead, pick up that book, that article, that poem, and let it whisper to you, you're ready.